Everyone, welcome to the annual working title episode. I know it's been a while since I did the last one. I've been busy, obviously. I mean, it's very difficult to find time to do these, and also I hate editing, which is why this has caught me at the right moment, because my younger brother Atootwe said he wants to start editing videos, YouTube videos to be specific, and I just thought, hey, let's capitalize on that and give him something to do. So here we are. I'm hoping he enjoys editing enough so that I can do a little bit, like I can do a few more of these, because I really hate editing. Editing takes up an entire day for me, and I really don't have that much time anymore. I'm mostly very busy, and it's very difficult to even find like a few moments within the day to piece together your edits and stuff like that. So here's to hoping that Atootwe enjoys editing this, and here's to hoping that he continues to enjoy editing and he finds it a fruitful endeavor. So what are we talking about today? Today I'm going to be talking about creative block, but more in the light of how it affects you on a mental level, and how you could possibly deal with that. How, first of all, everything I'm going to say in this video will be specific from my own experience of it, and if you experience something similar, I guess you're in luck, because you found the exact video that speaks to the symptoms that you experience as well, the same as I do. So everything I'm going to talk about in this video, number one, I'm not an expert. If you want an expert to help you, if you have actual like anxiety issues that sometimes prevent you from being able to, generate, develop, and deliver on work, there's experts. I've mentioned them before in my videos. Thrive Wellness Hub, they've helped me quite a lot, and that's like, for anything that goes beyond just a creative block. If you like, you can definitely have someone help you walk through those feelings of depression or anxiety. What I'll be talking about is specifically a creative block. I sometimes experience creative blocks that are quite detrimental to my workflow, to the point where I don't feel like I want to do anything, and that is not a great feeling, because the only way I make money is by being able to work, and if I don't feel like working, then it creates a bit of a problem. So to begin with, what is a creative block? A creative block is a feeling or a general phase within the creative process where you feel drained, or like you can't come up with any new ideas. You just, no matter how hard you try and push at it, you just can't execute at the same level that you usually do, because under normal circumstances, when you're in the flow, and that's actually a good word, sometimes you get into a flow and things just come in, the ideas are coming, everything is working together to generate really good ideas. But sometimes, a lot of times for me actually, nothing's happening. You sit there, you look at your computer, it's an empty canvas, and that's just it. You've got nothing coming in, nothing's going out. You look at Pinterest, you look at Behance, you look at some really cool stuff, and it's great, but you just don't have that motivation to get into the work and put together the good ideas. And even when you do, it feels like you're not really working at 100%. So that's what happens with me. There's days when I just get hit with this overwhelming sense of, I really don't want to do anything today. I don't want to touch my computer at all. And there's a bunch of work that's waiting for me, and I need to get some stuff done, but the brain is just shutting down. I sit there and I'm like, hey brain, you got anything for me to do? And the brain's like, yeah, nah bro, I got nothing for you. And first of all, I just want to let you know that if you experience the same thing, so do I. And if there's enough of us who experience it for it to have a term called creative block, it's absolutely normal. You shouldn't feel like you're losing your touch, because that's how I used to feel earlier in my career when I have a creative block that would last maybe, for instance, 2 weeks. Yeah, by the way, it doesn't just happen for short times. At least for me, it doesn't happen for just short times. So if it goes beyond a day or 3, don't panic. It's perfectly normal. Or maybe my therapist hasn't told me something about my creative blocks, but I'm going to tell you, until my therapist tells me otherwise, it's perfectly normal to experience a creative block that could last, that could be a bit extended. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk you through what I do to help me get out of it. Usually, first of all, how to notice that you're either about to get into a creative block or you're deep within a creative block is you don't feel motivated to do any work. and that will come through where a client calls you, they want some work done, and you either accept the job or the job has come in, whether you're freelancing or not. You've gotten a brief for a job and you're looking at all these different jobs that you're doing and you're just feeling overwhelmed. Like a general sense of being overwhelmed, despite how much work or how little work you have. You just look at a job and it just looks like this mountain of a task, a Herculean task even. That's a pretty good sign. That's usually, for me, I have moments like that and I immediately go like, oh, it's happening. And being able to notice when it's happening will help you immediately start to manage it. So the first thing that I do is I break down all the tasks that I have in terms of what do I need to do. So for instance, if I have like a campaign to develop, I break it down in the smallest possible steps. And that is, what does a campaign need? First of all, it needs a big idea. And usually you're not working alone on a campaign, but even if you are, the big idea is usually something that you can touch into and derive insights from and be able to generate for your client. So if you have a team, very good. It's actually ideal if you have a team, because you can talk to one of the people that you trust on your team to say, yo, I'm not really feeling so hot around now with this campaign, I'll need your help. Always, there is no problem asking for help. So if you either work in a team, or even if you don't, if you have a friend, like I have mentioned in one of my earlier videos, that you always need some accountability peers, people who can tell you, people you can send your work to help you get better. You can ask for help and just say, yo, I'm not really feeling very creative right now. Could you help me with this idea that I'm trying to pitch? And you'll find that, first of all, whenever you work on a campaign, more than one person, you get more insights into how to make that thing successful. And secondly, if the other person is in a better place where they're not experiencing a creative block, you can tap into that, and that can actually even help you get out of a creative block. But if that doesn't work, at least you have someone who can just help you generate some ideas that you can develop a campaign on. Then secondly, for instance, a campaign needs visuals. So you break it down. You say, what do I need to do? I need to go to Shutterstock or Adobe Stock or Google, if that's where you get your images from. Gather a library. Just start gathering a library. Break down your task to the simplest possible task. Break it down. Don't think of it as I'm creating a campaign. Think of it as I'm going to Shutterstock to download possible images that I will use in this campaign. That helps reduce the stakes of the task. You don't feel like you're taking on this huge thing. You're taking little chunks of it, because what is a mountain if not just a bunch of rocks piled on top of each other? So, you know, start taking grains from that thing. Eventually it's going to crumble. I mean, it's going to take a while, but what you're doing is you're buying time for yourself between now when you're deep in a creative block and later when you actually get out of it, because you are going to get out of it. And that's another thing you need to understand, is that you will get out of the creative block. But for right now, you just need to break down what you're doing so that you can manage your tasks and still get something done. Because what you don't want is to be in a spot where you absolutely cannot do any work. So any progress is good progress. So just break it down. What do the visuals need? They need images. So go to Shutterstock, grab a few images, create an entire library for the campaign, just, you know, name it, and just, you know, grab all those images of people having fun at the beach, having mimosas and fun things. Just grab as much as you can. And I understand it's a very difficult thing to get through, because right there and then you really don't want even to look at your laptop. But by doing the very small things of the task will help you, because for me personally, I find a bit of motivation from getting small wins and accumulating them over time. Getting tiny wins, and whenever I succeed at, for instance, downloading good enough images from Shutterstock or Google or Adobe Stock, I generally find myself a bit more motivated to go to the next step, which is then now you sit and you look at the canvas, which is which is now a bit of a difficult part. But even there, you can break it down and just say, I want to just lay out. How do I want the text to look? Where will the text go? Is it one of those where the text is at the top and the copy is at the bottom, or the text is at the bottom with the copy and the logos? Where are you placing everything? Just start laying stuff out. If you're working with a company that has brand guidelines, that's half the work has already been done for you, because you already know the elements that are going to go on that canvas. It's just a matter of now figuring out how you're going to put in the other elements, the image elements, and make it, you know, look good. Another way to actually do this, which may sound a bit contradictory from my first step, is if you feel absolutely completely overwhelmed, give yourself some time. Actually say to yourself, I'm going to need an hour or two away from the computer, because if you're going to force yourself to get into it, it will only increase that level of anxiety that comes with being in a creative block. Because when you hit a creative block and you have a lot of work, some anxiety builds up because you have a lot of work that you need to generate. You need to deliver on time, and you start panicking because the deadline keeps coming like that, and your work being halted is just not doing anything. You're not moving to meet the deadline. The deadline is not coming at you. It builds anxiety. So one way to actually do it, and it sounds counterintuitive and counterproductive, is to actually step away from the device. Go for a walk. Talk to your friend. Go visit someone. Just tell yourself, I'm going to take either 2-4 hours, whatever amount of time that you need that won't take away too much from your day. Take that time. Set it aside and literally commit to doing something that isn't designed. Walk away from the computer, walk away from your work desk, go mess around. If you're at an office and you have friends within the office, go have a fun conversation about the dangers of AI in the universe, or go talk about what civil rights will look like when the robots decide to rise up and demand equal treatment with humans. You know, do something like that. You see, that your brain gets working, you're talking to someone, you're discussing something that isn't the campaign, or isn't the artwork, or isn't the logo. It helps your brain, because the beauty about your brain is it's always solving problems. So as you're talking to that person, your brain is actually solving the problem and working through your creative block. So you take a walk, go do something else that isn't design related. Another thing is, don't stress it too much. I know this, and I hate it when someone says that, but I don't know how else I can say it, is try not to put too much stress on yourself to get out of the creative block. Accept that the creative block has hit you, understand that it's here, and the only way out of it is through it. You have to let the creative block hit you, and you have to do those tiny things. Doing the tiny tasks one at a time will help you quite a lot in going through it, and accepting that you'll be working at a slower pace than usual, so that you can prioritize your things quite nicely helps. Which leads me to my actual next point, actually, is list your tasks from easiest to hardest. In continuing from working on your small tasks and building on them, you can now line them up and say, this is the easiest task on my list. In the spirit of ensuring that you continue to build on those small wins, you take the easiest task first and line them up. So list at the top of your list is the easiest task, going to Shutterstock and downloading images. Put that there, and when you're done with that task, mark it off. Because when you start putting on when you create a priority list, you know what work you're going to get done and what work won't get done. And it always helps if you're working in a team to communicate that you're having a slow day or a slow week, and not usually make sure you communicate that when you mean slow week, it's not that you're not getting a lot of work, it's just like you personally slow on that day. So inform your team, let them know. Communication is a very, very important skill in the workplace. So tell your team that, yo, I'm not feeling like so hot right now, so I'll be working on just a slightly slower pace than usual. Hopefully you work in an environment that supports you and enables you to be free to express yourself in that manner. If not, tell it to yourself and just manage your priorities so that you can get the small things out of the way and get some stuff done. That will help you in your career. And I do hope that what I've shared here will help you the next time you have a creative block. If I've left out anything, feel free to comment below, and I'll respond. I've started, trying to read all the comments that I have on my videos. I keep checking back in. So if you have any questions, any other tips, because I also need to learn from you guys. What do you do when you have a creative block, and how do you get through it to the point where you're still able to generate work despite not feeling like working? Until next time, let's see how Atootwe's edit is going to come out. Stay creative, everyone.